What's going on, fellow fantasy basketball lovers? Thank you for joining us today on Fantasy Basketball this week. If you're a returning subscriber, it's great to see you again. If you're new here, which 60% of you are, according to our YouTube statistics, make sure you click that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment down below. We love to talk to our fans. Let's get right into business. I'm feeling good. My team's right. My predictions have been right, aside from Eric Gordon, 5-point performance yesterday. But my predictions are looking good. I feel like a fantasy basketball guru, and I'm ready to spread the knowledge to the people. I'm ready to spread the knowledge. So let's get right into it. Let's start out with our shout-outs for the week. My first shout-out goes to LeBron James, the man, the myth, the legend, the multiple-time MVP, multiple-time champ. LeBron James, he balled out this week. He had a 96 fantasy point performance or something like that. Listed as questionable every game, doesn't matter. Left ankle sprain, doesn't matter. I'm playing the game. I'm getting buckets, especially with Anthony Davis we use the term slump lightly when we talk about Anthony Davis, but the slump that Anthony Davis is in, LeBron is carrying that load. Oh, man. Let's roll the LeBron 96 fantasy point clip. Roll it.
So much off the court, too, in this area. Three. Yes, sir.
I guess that's the go-to play. Just give it a bit more time. Start looking to go now.
Trying to get it in the fridge. LeBron, tough shot. Nothing too tough for the King tonight.
Nothing too tough.
LeBron was a guy that we were a little worried about at the beginning of the season. We didn't know if he was going to be sitting out back-to-backs. We didn't know if he was going to be putting up quite the numbers he was before. We were confident, but we were a little skeptical. He's proven us right. We just had to wait a little bit. LeBron James had an incredible season. If it weren't for Embiid and Jokic having incredible seasons, he's another MVP candidate. He's always an MVP candidate. Shout out LeBron. Who's your shout out?
My first shout out of the day, I'm sticking to the alma mater again. I always do that. Shout out Mizzou, Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson is a front runner for Sixth Man of the Year and just has been absolutely on fire. Just no matter who you're throwing in front of him, he's getting buckets. He's had 12 straight games of 20 or more fantasy points, to keep that in perspective. And 7 of those 12 have been 30 or more. The Jazz have been without, Donovan Mitchell for 2 or so games, dealing with the concussion. And a lot of those guys have stepped up. And Jordan Clarkson, who's already been having a great year, just took it to another level the last couple games. Just love to watch him play. He's so much fun. If you get the chance to watch Jordan Clarkson play, please tune in. When he is on, it is beautiful.
Yeah. Coming off the bench, I've had Jordan Clarkson on my roster all year long. Coming off the bench and being one of the Jazz's leading scorers, which is the Jazz are one of the best teams in the NBA right now, the best record in the NBA. That's something to be proud of. Not a huge Mizzou fan, but I'll give him his props here. Jordan Clarkson, thanks for showing out for my team. He's been good this year. Yeah. And the Jazz, they have 3 awards that they could possibly win this year. Rudy Gobert, maybe a depoy for his umpteenth time. Jordan Clarkson, Sixth Man of the Year, probably. There's nobody else that I could think of that could take the crown off his head at the moment. Yeah. And then maybe the Coach of the Year if they keep up with his record. So shout out to Utah Jazz. Keep doing what you're doing. Small market team, but rowdy fans. You love to see the Jazz succeed, especially in their cool uniforms. So
yeah,
shout out them. My next shout out is a guy that I slandered, that I had questions about, that I wasn't confident in.
Yes.
And he's proven me wrong. James Harden. I'm just going to start it out with, I'm sorry, James. Strip Club James is going hard right now. Dude is balling out, and he's honestly the second option on the Nets, whether Kyrie wants it or not. He's the second option on the Nets. He's putting up shots now. They weren't doing that at the beginning, but they realized James Harden is the secondary scorer for the Nets. They're rolling right now, 8-2 in their last 10. James Harden, if you bought low while he was on the Houston, then you made the right trade. I mean, I said sell him and I was wrong. So if you bought low, you made out like a bandit. So Carl had it right the whole time. He said if he's playing basketball, he's on my team. So
yeah. It's James Harden. You cannot deny what the man does on offense.
All right, so I take my heat. We'll roll a clip from James Harden, and that's rolling here.
But maybe later, French Connection 2. Harden fouled. A chance at 4 for the Beard. Lawawu, Cabarrot, and Harris round out the 5. Harden. Well, that's not fair.
But to move on to the next guy, you got one more shout out. Who you giving it to?
Yeah, I got it's Bleacher Report's favorite superstar. Got to shout out Zion. Most because he's slowly developing into the dominant player that I thought he was going to be. He's been playing pretty well as of late, and just so far has been doing it without the 3-ball, which has been great to see. Just to see how his progression is slowly going. Like, he's dominating inside the paint. He knows where he can dominate. He's playing a lot smarter than he did when he played last year. Like, he's still going hard, but it's not 100%. Like, it's not full throttle the entire time. Like, he's grown so much as a player. He's still got a lot more growth. Like, he's only shooting 16.7% from 3. Don't really like to see that, but he's also not pulling a lot, and he's barely missing when he goes to the paint. And just wanted to shout him out because he's a guy that I've just been, because a lot of people look at the highlights and the stats and him dunking and don't really necessarily look at him as a player, like the way he actually goes and tries to score, which is something that I had an issue with his rookie year. And now it seems like he's slowly getting the NBA game together, and he's becoming a beast.
Yeah, he's got to do a little bit of the Tatum training, which is not taking 1 foot inside the 3-point line jumpers. Stop taking mid-range. And if you're not going to hit the threes, stop taking the threes. He's got to get it in his arsenal eventually. I mean, he's still young, plenty of time. But right now he's being dominant. And just to call back to last week when I said Lonzo was going to hoop, Lonzo hooped, bro.
He did.
56 fantasy point performance. Lonzo hooped. So I'll throw in that's my last shout out. Lonzo Ball. Shout out him. Shout out me for telling you to pick him up. That's all I'm going to say. Fantasy basketball this week. Gurus. That's what we're here for.